thing triggered the solar boom in Germany, of course, and then also here in Shanghai and Jiangsu province in China, actually. This is then led to the foundation of SNEC with Dr. Sheng Guangxi, right? In 2005, the world's biggest IPO across all technology fields in the world. Like, can you imagine? This was something. And that goes back to what Hans-Josef felt in the German parliament. He convinced the government, the parliamentarians and the government to introduce a generous feed-in tariff. Very simple, unusual for Germany, I must say, super simple. And it became a huge success and triggered the solar revolution everywhere, including in China. So Hans-Josef Feld, please come over here and tell us about what you are talking about. 100 renewable energy with the focus on solar energy and the crucial contribution to the survival of human civilization. Hans-Josef, tell us what is close to your heart.
Yeah. Thank you, Armin, for your kind introduction. It is a pleasure for me to stay here with you in Shanghai. I know Shanghai, as well as whole China, is really a great nation for photovoltaics and renewable energies by the whole, wind power and batteries, hydropower, geothermal, bioenergy, and it is great to see it here. I want to speak with you over the necessity, why we do need it. And the necessity, you will see it very fast, is on a geopolitical level. The main discussions what we have today in the world are combined with energy. When we look to the world peace card, you see the areas in red where the wars are in that last year. And when you look to the details, you will find immediately where the oil comes from, there is often a war. And that's the reason behind. The fight over oil and gas is one of the most reasons of wars. And we see it now in the Strait of Hormuz, the war between Israel, USA on one side and Iran on the other side. Energy plays a crucial role, but we all know one cannot fight over solar radiation or of wind. It is impossible. And therefore, renewable energies is a solution for peace in the world. Not only, but one of the most important things. And on the other side, most discussed in the world, the threat over heating up our planet. We stay at 1.5 degrees global warming over the pre-industry level. Much too much today, we see already lots of disasters. But when we look to the increasing rates of the temperature at the moment of the last 20 years, we will find when we do not change the global politics in energy, we will see 3 degrees global warming at 2050. What does that mean? An Australian report showed it exactly. Sea level rise will come, and Shanghai is one of the most vulnerable towns in the world. Not only Shanghai, 130 towns with more than 1 million inhabitants will be affected. We see heat waves. 55% of the global population will have 20 days with lethal heat conditions in 2050. We will see desertification, hunger, and plenty others. We have to hurry up with climate protection much faster than we did in the past. How to do that? It is not acceptable to agree the Paris Agreement and achieve 2 degrees global warming. It is too hard for the Earth. We must find a pathway to cool down the Earth by 1 degree. And this means we must decrease the high level of carbon concentration in the atmosphere what we have already. We had 300 parts per million pre-industry, and today we have 430 parts per million. We must come down under 350 parts per million. That's the human border that the humankind can be alive. How is it possible? We must stop all emissions, not only reduce them, and we must clean the atmosphere from carbon. 3 pillars are important. 100% renewables stands in the center. It cuts 60% of all emissions in the world. We need an emission-free circular economy, and we have to take out carbon from the atmosphere with plants, with Algiers, in agriculture, in reforesting, in marine economy. China is also best example for forestry. We have a forest in Desert Gobi as big as Germany, created in only 3 decades. Wonderful. The task is very great. You see on the red area the emissions, what the humankind did into the atmosphere. These emissions have to come down within 2 or 3 decades. And the green area is to take out the carbon from the atmosphere. Then we have a chance to come back under 350 parts per million until 2060, perhaps. How can we do that? 100% renewables. We are on a good way. This is an investment into renewables in the world, and we see in energy investment more than 90% of all investment flows already to renewable energies. That's very good. And when we look to the most important pillar within the renewable energies, it's photovoltaic systems. We see the increasing of photovoltaics in the world. In 2025, the most what we ever had. And you see the blue area, 50% of all investment of photovoltaics is done in China. Thank you, China. Very good. And 90% of all technologies of photovoltaics is produced in China. So you are the leading industry nation, and we need to accelerate it. And it is not only photovoltaics, we need all clean technologies. We have also an increasing of the investment. Last year, you could see renewable energies is the lowest pillar. You see transport, electric cars, buses, lorries, trains, grid, and others. Plenty of people believe we could also create new nuclear power, but nuclear power is too expensive. It plays no role in the world, no really role, a little bit in China, but we have problems with nuclear power, not secured questions to the nuclear waste, and in war regions like Ukraine, it's very dangerous to use nuclear power. Therefore, renewables and electrification, that's a question, and the answer to the question how to come to zero emission world. We are on a good pathway. And this industry revolution in Germany and China led that we now have renewable energies as the cheapest energy source in the world. The cost of photovoltaic were falling over the last 2 decades in a rapid way. And that's wonderful, because now the cheapest option for energy is renewables. And not only photovoltaics, this is last year's scientific report from US Lizard Bank, and you see the LCOE of wind power plus batteries, of photovoltaic plus batteries, is cheaper than to create energy from coal power, from natural gas, or from nuclear. Nuclear is the most expensive one. So it makes only sense on an economic view to cancel all the investment into fossil and nuclear and concentrate on renewable energies, plus storage systems to balance the fluctuations of solar and wind. How to come to clean the atmosphere? How can we take out such huge amounts of carbon what we have to take out? Yes, we have a lot of possibilities on land area, forestry, agriculture. Everything is important. We will visit with my delegation tomorrow the Bamboo Institute in Hangzhou. It is very good and shows how to create bamboo for building materials, for removing fossil plastics and plenty other. But land area is not enough on the earth to take out the carbon that we have to take out. We must go to the ocean and create huge algae farms in all big ocean regions with macroalgae and create a new business with that. We can use this macroalgae for a new business to replace fossil industry as well in the circular economy. We can make from macroalgae air fuels, emulsifiers, bioplastic instead of fossil plastic, building materials to replace steel and Cretan. We can make fertilizers for the agriculture area, and we can create biochar that stores carbon in the soil and makes the soil more fruitful for more food and for clean food. All these possibilities comes from the basic with algae. And we can combine renewable energies growth with ocean, near ocean, with wind farms. This is an example from Netherlands, the first wind farm with combining of algae farms. You can go with photovoltaic fields to the sea and can create as well here algae farms, but we have to recognize this is nearshore, where we have not the huge places what we need. We must go to the open sea, far away from the shores, and create there the algae farms for that amount what we need. China is on a way for this zero emission and carbon sinking technologies. You see from the NDIC, the last report, and you see in 2060 wind and solar will cover nearly 80% of all energy demand in China. My thinking is China could come earlier to this 100% renewable system, because the increasing rates what we have are fast enough to come to 100% renewables by 2035, even in China with the huge coal demand what you have. But I believe it is possible, and we should go this way. China can lead the world, and does it lead in clean technologies? And we can create as well a marine ocean technology together with them. Our delegation will visit at the end of this week Xiamen, the Research Institute of Ocean Energy, and we will discuss with them how to create a new industry, what we discussed, Mr. Abele mentioned it, in 2000 to create a new idea, renewable energies, and now we stay in the front, how to create carbon things on an ocean level in a fast way, so that we can have a chance to save the humankind culture. That's possible, and we should accept this task and go in a common way, Europe and China and the rest of the world, together with US and every country, to stimulate climate protection, peace, and new industry and business with zero emission and carbon fix. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Fell. Also, thanks for staying in time. Do we have a question? Okay. So this is probably a new topic, right, for many people in the room, but probably you can trigger another revolution, right? I think you help triggering the solar revolution, and I find it quite amazing to try to remove the carbon dioxide from the air in industrial scale, right? I have not heard that before, and not in 2100. This man is talking about starting now, right, or yesterday. So, and again, going to China is probably the right place, right? If somebody can do it in China, speed, it is China. So therefore, it's the great place and probably a new idea that might become very, very big in the coming years. And as always, initially people underestimate the new things, right? People laughed at solar photovoltaics in the 1990s.